It doesn't matter if you love or hate Polaris, you absolutely cannot deny that they have pushed the boundaries of innovation and technology in the side-by-side industry beyond levels we have ever seen. And in turn, driven their competition to respond by pushing those boundaries even further. This has brought us some of the most impressive side-by-sides we've ever seen, way beyond what we would ever have been able to imagine a mere 7 or 8 years ago. Along with those advancements in performance, Polaris has also been pushing the boundaries of innovation and exploration into what a side-by-side can actually be and the different ways we can use them. Their latest example of this innovation is their all-new for 2024 XPEDITION Adventure. It's a new take on what a recreational side-by-side could be, and just in case you're wondering, it is beyond awesome. I'll be the first to admit that the XPEDITION XP, the one with the dumping cargo box, doesn't excite me nearly as much as this adventure model does. While the XPEDITION XP really isn't just a general with a cab-ready roll cage, the XP model just seems way too close to a general in overall functionality to really be considered innovative in my opinion. Truthfully, this isn't a bad thing. We love the General and we've always wanted one that had heat and AC in a fully sealed cab. So if you really think about it, the XPEDITION XP is kinda like a General 2.0. The Adventure version, on the other hand, is something totally different. Its fully enclosed, non-tilting bed is something the industry has never seen before, and it opens up a whole new category of usability we've so far never explored. But I guess the big question is, why do I think this thing is so awesome? So let's get that taken care of right now. First, the XPEDITION Adventure NorthStar is awesome because underneath its cool SUV-like exterior and all those creature comforts lies a great handling, great riding, and pleasantly powerful sport side-by-side. Its arched double-arm front and rear suspension setups stretch out to 64 inches in width, yield 14 and 15 inches of travel, and allow for a total of 14 inches of ground clearance. A set of Fox Podium 2.0 QS3 shocks with position-sensitive spiral technology can be found at each corner and, when set to their fully soft position, provide one of the smoothest rides I've ever experienced in any sport or sport utility side-by-side. QS3 shocks are great because they're easy and straightforward to adjust. It's really hard to mess them up, but there's one major flaw with them here on the XPEDITION. I mean, it's not with the shocks themselves, but with how the right rear is positioned. The reservoir with the 3-position clicker is located way up here behind the exhaust header. Now this creates 2 major problems. First, there is a lot of heat generated in this general area, which is going to affect how the shock will perform. And second, there's a very real possibility you could burn yourself if you reach up to adjust the 3-position clicker. The second problem is only really a problem if you're the kind of person who adjusts your suspension multiple times during a ride. Most people aren't, so it will be a non-issue for many. For everyone else, be careful. And this problem really does have a very simple solution. Polaris could and should include a specially tuned version of their dynamic system on the Ultimate and NorthStar versions of the XPEDITION. If that's going too far, they could also use Fox's IQS adjustment system for the shocks so that you never have to touch the adjuster knobs at all. Regardless of these issues, ride quality is so plush on big bumps, small bumps, and everything in between. The sensation you get from being this isolated from rough trails is almost confusing to your senses, but in the best possible way. In terms of handling, there is one thing you're going to have to get used to about the XPEDITION Adventure NorthStar before you can really learn to drive it fast. It seems top-heavy, but it doesn't handle that way. The big cab with full rear enclosure and tall stance suggests that the Adventure will feel like it's going to have excessive body roll in the corners. But while it does have more than, say, a General, it in no way inhibits your ability to flat out rail corners as fast as you can. In fact, the harder I pushed this unit, the better it seemed to handle, giving me no cause for concern even in the tightest, highest speed twisties. Now let's talk about power. This is one area I think the XPEDITION could be improved. At 114 horsepower, it's not underpowered compared to other sport utility side-by-sides, but the Adventure NorthStar Edition is quite a bit heavier than anything else you might try and compare it to. There's a lot of mass to get moving, and while its top speed is more than acceptable, and while it will spin its tires, it just feels a bit sluggish. I'd like a version of this vehicle with closer to 130 horsepower. I think that would be pretty much perfect. Obviously, like all Polaris NorthStar models, this one has every bell and whistle you can possibly imagine, but it also has some you may not have thought of. Its full cab is fully sealed to keep out dust and water. With that said, we found the tip-out windshield didn't seal tightly enough at the top when it was closed and would let drips of water through when it got really soaked. Because the cab is fully sealed, the HVAC system does a great job with heating and cooling. In my walk-around video, I listed this as having an automatic climate control function, which it doesn't, but it does have multi-zones just like in your SUV, which is truly awesome. The 7-inch Ride Command display does all the stuff Ride Command usually does and also includes all the extras you get with Ride Command Plus. It also controls the absolutely ridiculous JBL Trail Pro 4100 stereo with sub. 30-inch Pro Armor Crawler XP tires are wrapped around 15-inch aluminum wheels. Now this is not a square setup. The fronts are 10 inches wide while the rears are 11 inches wide, which I think is weird and kind of annoying. Does 1 inch really make that much of a difference? It's a question as old as time. A 4,500-pound Polaris winch with synthetic cable and magnetic auto-stop fairlead is tucked neatly behind the front bull-style bumper, and a nice interior rear-view mirror rounds out the NorthStar package. The interior mirror is only useful when the rear liftgate is clean, which is pretty much never. The windshield includes a wiper with spray function. The rear appears to have the mounts for it, but it really should come standard on the top-of-the-line NorthStar model. I also think a set of folding side view mirrors would be a huge bonus. Like your big SUV at home, this thing is really hard to see behind when you're backing up. A backup camera is included, and that's really nice, but the side view mirrors are conspicuous in their absence. The Expedition Adventure is one of the coolest looking side-by-sides I've ever laid eyes on, but the interior is really where the magic happens. The cargo bed doesn't dump, but does have Lock and Ride Pro mounts on both side rails. Just like your SUV, the rear seats fold down to create an increase in cargo space that's big enough to accommodate a good-sized air mattress if you're out camping and want to sleep off the ground in the safety and comfort of a fully enclosed cab. The rear seat bottoms also flip up to increase the cargo area behind the front seats when the seat backs are up, making this an extremely versatile utility vehicle. After spending a lot of time driving Polaris's 2024 Expedition Adventure 5-seat NorthStar, I can honestly say this is the most comfortable I've ever been in a side-by-side. But it's not just because of the fully enclosed cab or the heat and air conditioning or the incredibly smooth ride. It's the combination of all of the Adventure's features that make driving it so enjoyable. Like your SUV, the Expedition Adventure is functional, useful, and comfortable. But unlike your SUV, it can also be railed through the trails, smash through mud holes, and even catch some air if you're so inclined. Is this the most versatile side-by-side we've ever come across? That's really up for you to decide. But what I can say with 100% confidence is this. There's never been a side-by-side that I can see fitting in with my lifestyle better than this one.